Imagine being curled up in a pitch-black box the size of a coffin. You're tossed around for days, upside down, barely able to breathe. One wrong move, one loud noise, one tiny crack in your plan, and it means suffocation or recapture. For almost 100 hours, one man endured this living nightmare to escape Australia's most brutal prison. He pulled off the impossible. He became a legend of the underworld. But his freedom was short-lived because of a single, utterly undignified sneeze. This is the insane true story of William Kellow. Our story begins in 1927. William Kellow, a man with a penchant for forgery and robbery, was facing a crippling 15-year sentence in one of Australia's toughest prisons. Back then, these institutions were not about reform. They were about brutal punishment and hard labor. Escape was practically impossible. Prisons were fortresses, miles from civilization. Getting out meant facing the vast, unforgiving Australian bush and police trackers. A few legends defied the odds. Moondyne Joe, who chipped his way out of an escape-proof cell in Fremantle Prison. William and Mary Bryant, who stole a boat and sailed over 5,000 kilometers in open sea in 1791. These successful escapes required epic feats of bush survival or seamanship. William Kellow's plan? It required neither. He decided to have himself delivered out. Kellow spent months studying the prison's mail system, noting how wooden crates of prison goods were shipped to Sydney, 400 miles away. The vessel. He custom-built a crate, just large enough for his 5'7" frame to curl into, about 3 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet. The supplies. He packed only the essentials: water, biscuits, and most crucially, a screwdriver to open the lid from the inside. The address. His criminal associates in Sydney were ready to receive the special consignment at a fake address. On a stormy night in October 1927, the moment arrived. The sound of the storm covered his movements in the prison workshop. He climbed in, screwed the lid shut from the inside, and waited. For the next 4 days, 96 hours, William endured a living nightmare. From the prison, the crate was loaded onto a bumpy horse-drawn cart, then rattled violently on a train, and finally tossed around in the cargo hold of a ship crossing the sea to Sydney. Suffocation and cramping. Imagine being curled up in a pitch-black box the size of a coffin, barely able to breathe through the tiny pre-drilled air holes. He couldn't stretch, shift, or even cough without fear of being heard. After 400 miles of this grueling confinement, the crate finally arrived at the Sydney docks and was delivered. His friends pried the lid open, and out crawled William, pale, bruised, stiff, but free. He was the only man to successfully mail himself out of an Australian prison. It was an unparalleled feat of ingenuity and endurance. His anonymity should have been secured for life, yet his freedom lasted for exactly 19 days. The 4-day ordeal inside the damp, cramped box had taken a severe toll. William had emerged shivering and quickly caught a nasty cold that settled in his chest. He was hiding out in Sydney's criminal underworld, moving between safe houses. On a November night in 1927, William was laying low in a quiet pub, likely thinking his escape was untraceable. Then the cold caught up with him. He was completely unable to suppress it. He let out a massive booming sneeze. The unthinkable happens. A detective happened to be sitting at a table just 2 away. This detective had spent days studying William's wanted posters and, crucially, had been briefed on the details of this notorious criminal. The detective didn't recognize William's face in the dim light, but he instantly recognized something else: the specific sound of the sniff. William was arrested on the spot, defeated not by dogs, guards, or the great walls of the prison, but by a common cold and a single involuntary bodily function. William was returned to prison to serve the remainder of his sentence, plus time added for the escape. When the prison warden was later questioned about the incident, he had to admit the almost unbelievable truth. If that idiot hadn't sneezed, we'd never have known how he escaped. The method by which William had achieved his legendary escape was instantly discovered, and the crate shipping system was banned forever. William Kellow secured a permanent, bizarre place in the history of prison escapes, the only man to successfully mail himself out of prison, only to be betrayed by a sneeze. If you found this bizarre piece of history as incredible as we did, hit that like button and subscribe for more insane true stories that sound fake. And tell us in the comments, if you were trapped in that box, how long do you think you would last?